for me.
Yes, that's accurate.
Yes,
100%.
reset all the slots.
Oh. Alright, so, Kim, did you raise your hand?
Yeah.
Or did I miss that? Okay, yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Alright.
So, I'm gonna go from what I remember. After, Bartholomew and Adrian had joined the party, they had Ronick, Nissa, Totem, and Kathios had come upon a village full of zombies, and after fighting zombies, found a cave, and then fought... Oh, shit. Well, his name's in my other notebook, but we fought
Arthur Blackwood?
Edgelord.
Edgelord, yep.
We fought Edgelord, who turned out to be specter of some sort, being controlled by something. Yeah, he was really emo, and he got set free. Then they moved on to finding, hopefully finding survivors in the village. And as they were leaving the cave, Ronick got possessed by some pissed off ancestor curse thing that made him the ultimate justice dude, like Judge Dredd.
Indeed.
And his friends had come trying to help him, including his new one, Adrian, trying to help him come out of it. He just wasn't himself. So Kathios was able to remind him of Ryuk, his baby dragon. And he was able to fight it off. And something about Totem also suffers something similar, which I want to know more about. And they found the place to rest for the night. And I think that was
Yes. Yep, that was Adrian's tiny hut that she had summoned up there at the end.
Yes,
That you
yes.
all stayed at.
I almost took that until I remembered that Adrian had it.
That's right, yeah.
Good call, good call.
I love
So
that
yeah,
spell.
you fought Arthur Blackwood, who was a resurrected being of some kind. Someone that Adrian was familiar with as a scholar from 50 or 100 years ago, renowned in that age for his work in necromancy. And yeah, Arthur Blackwood ended up being a pawn used by that NPC or something similar to it, and was set upon this town to perform some sort of test. You vaguely indicated, and you guys ended up dispatching him, and yes, finding shelter outside of the tiny hut. So, with that, we will resume tonight's session.
Someone made JM go poof.
Oh, yeah. Kathios landed on JM.
He's fine though. He's fine. He's back
Kathios
now.
killed him with her bony butt.
He's fine now though. It's okay. He's back.
He's back. Everything's good.
Talk about getting boned.
Whoa.
Oh,
He was throwing a dog a bone.
Oh.
This was a great session, everybody.
Good one.
Hey,
Have a
you
good night.
started it. Come finish it.
Title.
So yeah, you all had settled down for the night. Ronick assisting Adrian in bringing JM back from his extraplanar dimension where he normally resides. And you all seem to get a good night's rest. Eventually, you, at varying times throughout the night, had all settled down and taken to rest. And sorry. Oh, sorry, that was heartburn.
I haven't even begun role-playing yet. You can't get heartburn.
No. You know when you burp and it comes up?
Mm-hmm. And it just sits there.
Mhm. Yeah, the stomach acid. Sorry. Okay. So, yes, you all get a good night's rest, and the night is uneventful. You all seem to rest easy, and dreams come and go peacefully. Now, Cathios, you're the first awake. You slowly open your eyes and roll over on the makeshift bed in this tiny hut dimension, and you look over and see the rest of the party is still asleep. You stand up and look around. It's a bit dark. There's a bit of low light in the corner from one of the oil lamps that's set low, just to provide a bit of dim light in case someone needs to get up in the middle of the night. And you begin to move across the room when you hear some noise coming from the door that leads into the tiny hut. As you noted from outside, it is a tiny hut, but when you move in, it's essentially just a different dimension, sort of. It's like an in-between place. It's a safe haven. So everything inside is bigger and a little more roomy than would seem on the outside. But you see the door across, and you walk over to it and open it up to kind of peek outside and see what's out there. And it's dark. Your eyes take a moment to sort of adjust to your surroundings, and you look about, and something seems a bit off. You thought you rested for the full night, but it's still dark outside, but maybe you woke up early, and that's not a big deal. But you hear noises coming from a distance, some voices, and some other muffled noises you can't quite make out. And as you step out, the door of the hut shuts behind you, and you kind of look back. A bit startled, as it makes a loud noise when it slams behind you, but you look up again as the noises in the distance are a bit louder, and as you look around again, the houses, the village you were in, isn't there. You're surrounded by an immense forest. Very tall, very old trees. Bright moonlight off in the distance, breaking through the canopy, kind of shedding sparse light across the floor of the forest. And you could see sort of this broken trail in front of you. And when you turn around to look again, to see where the trail leads from the other side, the hut is gone. It's not there. And the noises get louder. You hear a group of people speaking, some male voices, some female voices. And what sounds like the muffled noise you heard before sounds like muffled voices, maybe people who are gagged or bound, and they sound like they're struggling, and some of the voices are arguing. You begin to quietly try to make your way through the forest, doing your best to remain unseen, and as you make a short way down the broken path in front of you, you can now see some torchlight peeking through the trees. As you get closer and crouch down to the source of the torchlight, you see a large group of individuals, all of them cloaked and hooded. You see some wagons with some crates on them, some barrels, and you see one or two wagons, on the backside towards your right that look like they're prison carriages. So they're barred, and they've got reinforcements, and there's a swath of people inside them. Most of the two wagons are packed with people shoulder to shoulder, so they're packed so tightly that people can't even sit down or fall over. And they look really rough and beaten up and just not well taken care of at all. And the group of people in cloaks outside the wagons they're going back and forth, arguing. They're trying to stay hushed You're assuming they're trying to remain unseen and unheard, but some of them are really agitated and their voices come up. And the man who seems the most upset pulls his hood off, and your heart stops. It's a visage of your father. He's arguing with these other individuals. I know what job we took, but this is not what I agreed to. It's too bad we're already here. We're already too deep into this to go back. You see these people? We've ripped them from their homes. They've seen our faces. They know who we are. You can't go back now. Just because you lead this group doesn't mean you get to go back on this deal and put the rest of us in danger. I know, but it's not right, and you know it. I know it, but it's too late. And your father just has this look of just resignation and anger on his face. And he turns and looks back to the wagon of people who are scared, and some of them are shouting, or at least attempting to. The ones that had gotten loud in the cage, the muffling noise you heard before, are some of the individuals in those wagons trying really, really hard to be loud and be heard, but it doesn't seem to be working. And he shakes his head and wipes a hand across his face. He reaches into his cloak and pulls out a piece of paper and looks at it, his hand shaking a little bit as he's looking at it. Shakes his head again and puts it back in his cloak. All right, we're moving in 5. We need to get this caravan going and get to the drop points before daybreak. And everything vanishes to black. Ronick, you toss a bit in your sleep as you feel morning coming on. And it takes a minute for you, but you finally open your eyes and blink away the haze and kind of rub at your face a little bit as you see streams of sunlight coming in through the window to your left. You get up and sit on the edge of your bed for a moment and wipe your face again, trying to get your vision to focus. And as it does, you look around your bedroom back in Tajville. It's neatly decorated, a few bookshelves, a washroom in the back, well kept, desk in the corner where you did a lot of your studying and note-keeping, journal taking. And you stand up off the bed and walk around the room for a moment before deciding to go to the washroom and clean up for the morning. You head over to your armoire next to the bed and get dressed for the day and step out onto the streets of Tajville. You look around the street before you. It's bright. You can hear the sounds of people going about their day, the large stone buildings, several stories above, kind of casting shadows in the morning light, the brisk morning air kind of rushing down the street at you. And you look to the left and remember that you're heading back to the library today. So you start on your way and nod to passers-by, and they nod back kindly, and a few of them you recognize, some of your old classmates. You take a bit of time to just enjoy the morning. You stop by a food stall on the way as you didn't have breakfast before you left, and grab a few things to eat on your way to the library, and you see the library in front of you a couple hundred yards towards the city center, and as you're walking down one of the bright streets, you look to the left and you see an alleyway, a narrow alleyway, kind of between two buildings on your left there. Some of the taller buildings, which are multi-level residences, and it's unusually dark. Normally, shadows, yes, are a bit dark, but it's mid to late morning, and this is almost pitch black, and it catches your eye, and you seem a bit concerned. So you turn and look down the alleyway and realize that it's really hard to see, and that's unusual. So you look around and see if there's anybody nearby, and there doesn't seem to be any suspicious looking individuals. So you move further into the alley, a bit more cautiously than you may have normally, but given the circumstances, it's a bit weird. And you move in, and it's like walking through like an invisible barrier almost. As you kind of walk into the shadow, and maybe 2 or 3 steps in, the light comes back, and it's a normally dim-lit alley. Strange. The alley was maybe intentionally obscured. And as you pass through the barrier, some new sounds come up that you didn't hear before, so it's weird. It's maybe keeping sound out as well. You take a few more cautious steps down the alley, and you can hear a pair of voices. And it seems to be around a corner as the alley kind of curves to one side as it's rounding around back to the front of one of these buildings, or at least you think. And so you move up against the wall as you hear 2 people talking, and you press yourself against the corner, trying to remain unseen as you try to listen in on this conversation.
I've done as you asked. It's done. The wards are set, and the presents that you bid me deliver are in place.
You try to peek around the corner to get a look at these individuals, and one is this scrawny, dirty-looking human man, probably in maybe his 50s, early 60s. He's wrinkled, and he's missing patches of hair on his head. It's gray and kind of unkept, and he's got these dirty, ripped, gray, like, pants cut off at the knee, or just below the knees, and this really nasty-looking, torn-up gray sweater. No shoes, he's bare feet, and he's built in a way that he's got sharp lines, but his joints look like they're almost misshapen at first glance. Really knobby, really gross looking. And you see next to him, or in front of him, is this taller, heavier looking individual draped in this black cloak with the hood pulled up, and you see this sort of black mist slowly peeling off of him, or them, you can't tell, but you assume by the size that it could be male, as this person's a lot larger than the scrawny little man. And the cloaked figure nods slowly, looks up and down the alley, and looks back. And in this strange, multi-layered, like slithery voice, you can hear them hiss out,
Very good. You will be paid well for this job.
as they slowly reach around their belt and produce a large brown sack, and as he sets it in the man's hand, you can hear the heavy set of coins as his little knobby hand grabs at these coins and rips it away from this individual.
So, I can go now, right? I've done what you wanted. The coin is mine, I'm free to go. Yes. Go live out the rest of your miserable life.
And at that moment, as the man begins to flee down the opposite side of the alleyway... Hold on, my headset shut off. It's weird. As the man runs down the opposite side of the alleyway and into the street, as the vision begins to fade, you hear a loud explosion behind you, and then it'll fade to black. Now, about that time, you all sort of wake up at the same time. And you all sit up and look at each other. Some of you having a more interesting end to their evening than others. But you see Bartholomew sitting over in the corner, kind of rummaging through his pack. Not doing anything particular, but trying to stay quiet as the rest of you are sleeping. And you're all free to get up and get ready for the morning. Let's start with Nissa. You all,
I knew you were
as
gonna
I said,
say me.
as I said, you all sort of wake up at the same exact time and look at each other, but some of you look like you've had a rougher night than others. How are you going to approach the morning?
Let me see. Is it pretty blatant that some of them have had a rough night, or?
Roll a perception check. You're kind of just waking up. And
Okay, so Nissa's just like rubbing her eyes and trying to look, but everything's like still that hazy, blurry, like maybe she's having some allergy issues and her eyes are trying to stick together, like.
yeah.
She kind of stretches her little gnome arms up. Oh, good morning, everybody. How'd y'all sleep?
Pretty free here. Pretty free.
I've had better sleep on the ground outside.
Ronick wakes up with a start and moves his trunk, recognizing that it got very close to the Great Club.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh man, is totem out?
Totem is out, yeah. Oh, you are all awake. Good morning.
Morning, Birdie.
Coffee. That's fine with me. Good morning, Mister.
And what do we do today? Do we have to dispose of all these bodies, or do we just leave them here? No other zombies attacked us in the night, I presume.
Yes, it seems like a pretty uneventful evening. As for the condition of the village, leave that business to me if you don't mind. I have contacts in Baldur's Gate who, unfortunately, are responsible for this part of the Sword Coast, and we'll have to let them know. I'll send a correspondence ahead and inform them officially of what's happened here.
Works for me. I don't really think that the folk here would like how my people do the whole last rites and stuff.
What did we do?
Yeah.
We typically do like a pyre. The elders Well, the elder fire touched will do like run it. It's kind of stuffy and boring, and it's not really like emotional. All the things the elders do is kind of clinical. It's really not my vibe, and really kind of lame that I'm gonna have to be like that someday. Blech.
Well, I respect that.
But anyway, I'd just as well not get a jump start on those duties.
Yes, the village isn't your responsibility. The safeguarding of this particular region of the Sword Coast, as I said, is up to Baldur's Gate. Most of you already know, but the territories run horizontally across Sword Coast, so Baldur's Gate runs from the coast up to the borders of Arm. Unfortunately, it looks like they've been neglecting this side of their territory, and they will now be made aware of it. But on to other discussions. Maybe more happier things. How is everyone faring this morning?
Adrian is still asleep. She's snoring, a little bit of drool. Jam's like curled up, right tiny little ball.
Ronick is unusually withdrawn as his hat's removed, and he's just sort of going through his things, eating some morning rations, and just sort of listening in, but you can see by the bags under his eyes and the sort of unnatural weight that appears to be bearing down upon him that the events of yesterday having a pretty profound impact on him now, and it appears as though he, at a glance, didn't sleep well.
Toto wakes up. Good stretch. Hey there, friend. Don't worry.
I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
After a while, you learn to block it out.
That's a survival technique, you know. I mean, to block out bad things. Not that, sorry, anything about Chief Totem is bad, I just meant, never mind.
I think you might be kidding on
Wait a minute. And Ronick almost seems to snap out of his funk as you mention that to him. Should we be wing buddies?
Who? Me?
Oh,
Cathios? Me and Cathios. Cathios. We could be double wing buddies for him.
Wait, who's... I don't understand. Who's falling for who here? I'm getting rather confused in this whole exchange.
Oh, Cathios, he's very confused. Maybe not enough sleep. It's understandable.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
whispers over to him. Hey, can we just wait a little bit and see?
Ronick, you have to wait for a bit, and we'll see.
I'll follow your lead, Cathiosa. Totem, you know you're supposed to wear the kilt around your waist and not wrap it around.
Can you show me how? Give me a hand.
Look, and Ronick kind of stands a bit and like sort of demonstrates a little bit, but he's not going to unwrap that. They call this one the Devil's Knot.
Oh.
Well, before we start planning and getting going, I'm gonna take Pakil out and see if maybe he's ready for some diaper duties, ready for the outside.
You know, I think Ryu might appreciate stretching his legs a bit. I'll join you.
Oh yes, and little... Oh, I don't have little rage.
No football for you.
It could perhaps be a ample chance for a bonding opportunity between the two of them.
Yeah, and rage too. I forgot I had rage.
Still. And just at that moment, as you're all sort of standing up and preparing to head out, maybe for a few minutes before getting ready for the day, poof! The entire hut disappears, and Adrian, who was sleeping on a cot, has, bam, fallen to the ground a whole 2 feet, and is jolted awake from her sleep. The hut is now completely gone.
I forget it does that. Oh, good morning.
Are you alright?
Oh,
Good morning.
What just happened?
Damnable spell durations.
I just got like 8 hours before it goes away.
yes.
She just kind of filled up her face and goes, oh god. And then prestidigitates everything.
You're all now outside between a few of the buildings in the middle of the village, and it's early morning, maybe 8 or 9 a.m.
So what's next? Nissa's gonna kind of take some, now that they're outside, she's gonna find some like long blades of grass or wheat or like weeds or anything like long stemmed,
Mm-hmm.
and start weaving together a little like dragon leash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just not 50 feet to the right, just beyond the village there, there's a whole field of tall grass that's essentially untouched.
Nice.
So you guys have tiny dragons. I did not, that was not in my head. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adrian. As soon as after you found out about Rhea, I'm sorry we didn't explain. As she's setting Claquille and Rage down on the ground and just kind of trying to figure out how to potty train a dragon.
I mean, I could probably help with that a little bit. I read a lot of books. She's still just like, I read a lot. I am not. Why is it morning?
Because we went to bed late last night, and the sun is now up. That's typically how the days and seasons work.
Holy shit! You're kidding me.
No, I'm fooling you.
Oh my god.
But about business for the day, I still need to continue north, but beyond that, the next settlement north, you'll head to the west from there to hit Baldur's Gate. Probably don't have to tell you that. You're all from the Sword Coast, I take it, yes? I actually never asked.
Yeah, I mean, I've totally traveled all over the Sword Coast. I know all about where everything is.
Perfect.
She's clearly lying. Like,
Right, well, if that's the case, then, yes, once we head to Squanabel, I'll deal with my business there, but I've already sent word about the condition of the dusk. So, again, it's not your business to worry about it, as unfortunate as it is.
Well, and you guys said that you came from the area that I was heading to, so is it alright if I stuck around?
You seem like a good comrade and able to fight. I'm okay with that.
You'll hear no argument from me.
I agree. No argument here either.
Besides, it's you guys are headed to Baldur's Gate. It's been a while since I've been home. We could go see my dad.
You're home
Been
with
like 5
Baldur's
years.
Gate?
Yeah,
will be handy. We can have someone to, like, show us around and stuff. And then she kind of remembers that she just lied. She's not that I need it, because I already know all about Baldur's Gate. And I know where everything is.
Right. Sounds like business is settled then. I haven't eaten breakfast, but I don't know how everyone starts their day. Some people prefer to skip it, but
She picks up Junior Mid. He likes to eat a lot, so if you want to, like...
Nissa's gonna wake and bake.
Oh, okay. I can cook a little, but I'm not very proficient. If someone here is more suited to the task, feel free to step in. No?
Just, like, Ronick and I don't eat meat, so...
Right. I heard that about Loxodons, but you're the first one I've actually... Well, I've seen them in passing on rare occasion, but you're the first one that I've actually had words with. So, that's confirmed, and I'm assuming you, Nissa, is a matter of preference or cultural difference?
Yeah.
We can, I could probably accommodate you fairly easily. Maybe. He's thinking about it. Maybe not.
If you'd like, I'd be happy to provide breakfast for everyone.
Yes, be my guest. As I said, I can cook in a pinch, but I'm not very good.
Oh god, give me 1 second. Let me pull up the old character sheet here. I thought that I'd clicked to add it, but I did not.
Don't add anything that you actually need.
Never.
So, you kind of see Ronick, he stands up and I've watched this several times and I've always wanted to take a chance at trying this, and like you can immediately see by the light in his eyes that he has he kind of prepares and looks up and sees that everybody's watching and just immediately loses confidence.
Adrian,
You can do it, buddy. And then Nissa's gonna tap his knee, I guess, unless she can reach, and cast guidance.
All right. Well, I sure hope I don't mess this up, but I'm going to try. And he holds out a hand for a moment. And he reaches into his pouch, producing a sprig of mistletoe, which he shakes around as he whispers a magic word and signs with it, and pop! 10 little berries appear. All right, well, breakfast is served, and he pops one.
Oh, good berry. Right. Forgot about that handy spell. It's been a long time since I've had one. I appreciate
I
it.
can do that too.
I hope you don't mind. I'm going to have to. It takes a little bit more for one of my stature.
No, of course. They're your berries anyways.
And if you glance down, Jam's just sitting there staring at you with those big eyes.
Oh, how could I possibly deny such a friendly little dog? Handsome one.
It's
And
like
that's
this very
3
gentle.
out of 10, so... You know, I can hand one to the other... Pretty much the rest of you, so and I'll have 2 left over that I just kind of keep on my person.
That's awesome, Ronick. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'd seen, because as I recall, Nissa's cast that before, right?
Yeah, I can do that too.
I saw Nissa cast it a while back, and I don't know, I guess your way of doing magic kind of inspired me a bit.
But you're supposed to be the inspirational one, silly.
Every story begins somewhere. Every tale begins with something that happens, an experience or somebody that you know.
All this time.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Damn it.
Though while we do enjoy these, there is There is a song that I did hear. I was on my way to Baldur's Gate. I stayed in a tavern once, and, let me see. He does a quick little sign with his hand, and you can kind of see the notes that are tattooed on his trunk begin to change a bit.
Nice.
And, now it's become more like a flute. And he begins playing you a rendition of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. And that goes on for another couple of minutes. I won't subject you to that.
Oh,
I'm not Michael after all.
Damn it.
while you're all enjoying Ronik's rendition of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, as the song sort of comes to a close, Nissa, you're kind of just enjoying the moment, and then you're startled by a loud voice. Excuse me!
Huh?
You have a visitor coming. Look over there. And you look around, and you don't see anybody talking, and you have no idea where this voice is indicating for you to look.
Is that my fire spirit?
You believe so. You believe so.
Where are they?
Right there. Oh, I'm sorry. And poof. In front of you, this little tiny fire spirit kind of comes into existence. That's better. I always forget that we don't originally start with a physical, well, not a physical form, but a form that's visible to most mortals. Over there, the bird in that tree in the distance, it's thinking about coming over here. But it's apprehensive.
Oh, I know what to do. I know how to do this. Hold on. I know what to do.
And the rest of you hear Nissa talking to herself.
I think she smoked too much.
Nissa will cast Speak with Animals.
Side effect of the electric lettuce.
Katia goes a little shocked side effect. After realizing she smoked some yesterday.
There's side effects?
I've heard that large doses can have a mild hallucinogenic effect.
So all of a sudden, like once the spell is cast, I don't know if it changes how my voice sounds. Gain the ability to
Follow your
verbally
heart.
communicate with beasts
Yeah.
for the duration. So yeah, I guess for how I'm gonna flavor this is you guys hear her talking to herself, and then she starts like tweeting like a bird.
Yep.
um, But what the bird hears is her going, "Hello, little friend. Are you gonna come down and see us?"
Oh, that was very nice. Well done. And you can see the bird in the distance kind of hop on the branch a little bit, kind of hop to the edge of the branch, and then turn, and then swoop down, and then land in front of you. And everybody sees this little bird land in front of Nissa. And it starts chirping at her, and you guys have no idea what is being said. And this little bird, as it lands and it looks up to Nissa, yes, away, the people, humans, to the west. They ran.
The bad ones, or the ones that died and then came back?
The small ones, the loud, whiny ones, with some bigger ones, and, metal, they wore metal, and the loud, clinky metal, and the horses pulled them, and, they were going very fast, and it scared my friends and family, and I'm lost now. I saw you needed help.
Oh my goodness. I think we're gonna be going west eventually. Do you want to, like, stay with me? You can perch on my little shoulder. I do have a little dragon, but he's on a leash now. I made a leash. So, Reggie's nice, and I'll tell him not to tarry with you.
Okay, okay, let's go.
And it like flops up. This is little tiny bird with yellow belly and brown wings and a short little orange beak, and it kind of flies up and circles Nissa a couple times, and then it just lands on her shoulder, and you can see it like looking around, and then just kind of settles in.
I only have like 10 minutes that we're gonna be able to talk. So anything that you need to tell me, like, we gotta snap to it a little bit. But otherwise, you can like flit and fly to lead me or whatever. I'll follow you wherever.
Well, I'm lost. I'll just stay with you, and I will try to find family and friends.
Okay. Oh, this is so unfortunate. When I get a little bit better at magic, then I could turn into a bird with you and we could fly together, but I'm not good enough yet.
Oh, okay.
I would like to cast my brand new spell, Lightning Bolt, on the bird.
How dare you!
Well, there's breakfast, guys. Who wants
The
to try?
vegetarian.
It's for Totem.
Are you?
One with a bloodlust for birds.
Well, you know, you are what you eat, and birds eat grains and seed.
You'll have to forgive Ronick. He has an insatiable bloodlust, you know.
So for a minute or so, you can see Nissa and this bird go back and forth before it finally kind of just lands on her shoulder and just sort of nestles in and sits tightly on her shoulder and seems content there.
So she'll switch back to common and address the team. The little bird just told me that, from what I gathered, it sounded like some big bad guys in armor maybe took some children west from here. And it scared away all of the little bird's friends and family. So he's gonna tag along. And then, yeah, I don't know what we want to do about kidnapping, but that's what's happening.
Well, I can't
Children were kidnapped?
Yeah, I can't stand by with kids being kidnapped.
Yeah, no, it's all bad. Yeah, and I mean, I could be getting the message wrong. It could be that, you know, I don't know, maybe it was a house full of halflings that got stolen by, or they all ran away with guards. I don't know, but we might want to check to make sure.
We didn't find any children.
Yeah.
Didn't see any small bodies either, really.
And I say we go.
Well, I'm
Great.
ready when you are.
We can't let any more of this suffering continue. But, Nissa, you might, keep an eye on the little bird friend of yours. He kind of, like, lifts his hat and where you just, like, pokes his head out. You know, the little ones get hungry and all.
Yeah, I warned them. I warned the bird about the dragons. They're just gonna kind of hide. And then I made a leash for Reggie.
Well, that's
Next time we
smart
sit
thinking.
down, I could weave one for you guys too. I'll collect some long grass as we go, and I'll do that next
Well, that
time we
would be-
rest.
That would be excellent. Thank you, Nissa.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Well, no time like the present then, right, everyone?
Of course, if there's children in danger. Especially if they're from this village. Well, any village, but this one in particular has a place close to my heart. I'd like to retrieve them and bring them home if possible. Or at least get them to some place where they can be cared for, as there's not much left of home.
I agree. Let's set out as soon as we're ready. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to use another one of the new spells that I just got. Instant transmission. I'm going to detect their life force.
And just
Come
teleport
here,
right
Link
to
comes
him.
with me. No, don't put that to your forehead.
Oh god, no! Alright, so you all take a few minutes. You've ate your good berries and are kind of satiated for the most part for appetite-wise. And mount up, and Roddick, you do have that ring that gives you the extra large mount that allows you to ride. Just to remind you. That ring. That's the ring.
That's the ring.
The ring of Mordor.
Look, whatever it takes.
Right? However I can get around quicker, I don't care.
And can I just get a reminder on? Because did I write that down? How does that ring work?
So you don't know because Bartholomew activated the ring for you and then handed you the ring.
Bartholomew, how does I've never used this item before. How does it work?
Oh, yes. Oh, it's quite simple. You merely focus on the ring and imagine a steed. And it manifests a creature that accommodates the individual.
I see.
It
So-
typically comes out as a horse, so more than likely the horse is going to be much larger than normal, but I've never actually experimented with it. I've always just kind of used it as a utility. So,
He'll slip the ring on. Well, assuming it'll fit. Otherwise, he'll just kind of hold it in the palm of his.
Yeah,
hand.
it's a normal size ring. It does.
Okay, he's just
definitely
clutching
fit.
it.
Yeah, you can just hold it.
And Ronick will just kind of close his eyes, focusing, and he's going to, when it comes to trying to focus on anything that really engages your mind, it's best to ground it in an important memory. And he remembers back in Tajville, there were horses and carriages like always, but there were another form of rather large birds that could be ridden around. And there was one that he befriended. A traveler had stopped by, really tall and just a friendly lass by the name of Oriko, and she had this really large bird. And it was funny, the bird was very standoffish to a lot of people, but to Ronick they just became fast friends. Ronick, a rather young Lockston at the time, it was the first time that he'd ever truly bonded with an animal, and it was a very eye-opening experience to him, in that, while he never disliked animals, to truly get that first initial bond meant so much. And so that's kind of what he focuses on as the ring manifests whatever steed will be summoned by this effect.
Okay.
That is so cool.
So, you take a minute and you close your eyes and you bring yourself back to that memory, and you kind of just focus in on the energies of magic that normally accompany really any spell that you've wielded before. In a similar fashion, you try to push that magic forward and manifest it into something as intended. And in this case, the ring acts as a focus to activate the spell that is linked to it to manifest a mount. And you feel it warm up a little bit in your hand, and it's a bit difficult for you. You start to sweat just a little bit as it kind of rolls down the side of your face, and Bartholomew sees that you're struggling with this, and he walks over and puts a hand on your shoulder. Easy, Ronick. Easy. Take a breath.
Focus again. Release the breath. And just let it go.
I'm kind of imagining them right now. It's like that scene from Ghost.
With
He's holding the ring. Bartholomew's got his arms around him.
The clay pot scene.
Steady your breath, Ronak. All right.
Those are some long arms that man has.
Close your eyes.
No. But as he places a hand on your shoulder, you feel a bit more at ease, and suddenly the spell takes effect, and out of nowhere, you can see the energy kind of move out from Ronix closed hands around the ring, and it kind of swirls up into the shape, and this large bird just kind of plop, and it looks easily large enough to accommodate Ronick the Loxodon as it turns around and sees Ronick and just stomps on over and stops in front of you.
Immediate scritches, like petting with his trunk in like both hands.
The bird
And you can see like
responds in
tears welling up in Ronick's eyes as this gaze is as though he's looking upon the face of an old friend that he hasn't seen in years.
Well then, as for experimentation goes, that's quite impressive. As I said, I never thought to do anything other than a steed. That's mighty impressive, Ronick. Well done.
Yeah, there's a little more room if anybody else needs a mount. Nissa?
Sure.
Climbs on up and like lowers his trunk so you can kind of grab and he'll pick you up and put you like in front on Thick Bird Mark II.
So the rest of you see this large yellow bird manifest into existence. How do the rest of you react to that?
Nick, I'm learning more and more about you. It's really special to be able to see.
In a lot of ways, I'm learning more and more about myself as I travel with the rest of you.
I'd like everybody else to roll a nature check. Nissa, you can take advantage.
See if the digital dice are nice to me today.
Not today.
Ooh. Hey, look at that.
So, Nissa's the only one that recognizes this bird, as it is not normally seen in the Sword Coast. Actually, it's never normally seen in the Sword Coast ever. This is a creature that's bred and roams freely much further south in some of the lower continents towards much warmer and more exotic weather and landscapes. It's called a kukakuda. The rest of you have no idea what this bird is.
No, but Adrienne is definitely walking around it, like, sketching. And, like, she drew as much as she could from what she saw from the spell, and she's just...
Of all the animals I've ever seen, I've never seen anything like that. What is that, Ron?
Well, I believe some of the people back in Tajville had said it's called a kukakuda. It actually wasn't even Tajville, as far away from here as it was. Even that was too far north for them to really be around much. Only many of the people going across the burning sands to the south really saw many of. Those travelers were the ones that really brought them on their journeys up north.
fascinating creature. I'd like to head south someday and see some of these more new and exotic flora and fauna. I haven't had an opportunity to travel much in my lifetime. Maybe someday.
Someday.
But right now we have an objective. We need to find these children. I wonder though, if they left and headed, was it west, you said, Nissa? Did I hear correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
How were they traveling?
Do I remember? I don't remember what the bird said.
The bird said there were horses, and they were in what seemed to be the bird's description of what could only be defined as a wagon.
Okay. So
Or
it
more than
sounded
one.
like the bird said that they were noisy beings on the horses and the wagons with the noisy, clinky armored people. So it sounds like they got hauled away.
So, wagons more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, they should have left tracks.
Yeah. That'll be perfect. Cathios is like the best at tracking things.
Oh, fantastic. I haven't had much experience in tracking down people or horses of that much. I'm more about pinning down information, so this becomes more and more fortuitous by the minute. Cathios, please take the lead. Let's find these children.
Absolutely. Should I roll survival?
Yes.
Can I just... I was gonna ask if I could assist with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Roll again?
Yep, roll again.
Yee.
Ooh, niche eat. Darn.
So,
I was hoping.
as you look around the village, you see, in town, you see lots of wagon tracks. This being a farming village, that's not unusual, but you begin to head west on your horses and the lone large kukakuta, and start to move along the road. And the tracks seem to be a bit fewer. You know that here a few days prior, maybe a week ago, there was some heavy rain that may have probably cleared up the roads quite a bit, and so you see 2 or 3 particular wagon tracks as opposed to what would normally be a lot more, as a place like this would get a lot more traffic. And that goes on for a ways. The road immediately, it cuts west, but then it has to move north because Squirtlebell is the next village on the way to Baldur's Gate. But as that road cuts north, following the main road, you see a set of lone tracks that actually cut off from the main road about an hour into your journey that actually just cut west off the main road. And you almost miss it because you guys are moving at a pretty decent speed, thinking the tracks would be easy to follow on the road. So at the corner of your eye, you see some grass that looks like it was kind of cut into with 2 parallel lines and pushed aside a bit, which may lead you to believe that there may have been another wagon heading that way.
Well, that's not good. I can't tell if this is the wagons we're tracking or not. Cutting through the grass.
It's okay, Cathios. Let me take a look here. Oh, sadness.
This is gonna go great for us.
Can
Oh no!
Nissa, can Nissa like look for not only wagon tracks, but I'm assuming there will be some people marching, like some of the guards, possibly alongside the wagons.
You can attempt to look for additional tracks, yeah?
Boots and, yeah, all kinds of other
May
stuff.
I assist by investigating this?
Yeah. You can roll investigation, yep.
Son of a bitch!
It doesn't take too much more looking. As Cathios caught the initial trail that you guys almost passed up, you all stopped to take a look at it, and just beyond the first set of large patch of grass where the wagon had seemed to move through, it kind of dips a little bit into this hill, and as it does, the wagon tracks look like they were fairly steady, but there are some hoof tracks that, as the horses were moving down the hill, kind of tore some of that grass up, pushing it down, so you can see obvious skid marks where horse hooves had pushed into the grass into the hillside, as well as potentially some additional footprints from something else or someone else kind of walking outside of the wagon. Where the wagon trail is, maybe people marching along the outside, or some additional horses that were kind of stationed along the sides of the wagon, possibly. But there's additional sets of tracks beyond what you had initially seen, so it's a good thing you looked to stop, because there's a lot more tracks here than you initially saw.
Well, if I was transporting a bunch of stolen children, I probably wouldn't stay on the main road. That's just my thought. I'm not an expert evil genius or anything, but we might want to follow these.
That makes sense to me. What do the rest of you think?
I agree.
Yes.
Be fine if my mouse stopped trying to transfer over to my iPad, but
Nope.
I also
Oh, where's the mouse?
Ronnie, come down!
No, it's somewhere out here. Where the hell is it?
Look, it's not me this time. I'm right here.
Demon incarnate.
Satanic creatures of nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Jam just pokes his head up out of the bag and looks around. What?
That would be a nice little snack for dragons.
Yes.
Well,
So you
if
never
we're
have to
deci-
worry about it again.
Yeah. Well, if we're decided, we should make haste.
Yes, after some deliberation, I agree. If someone was trying to hide children, it would be best to stay off the main road. Even if their ultimate goal is to head to another location such as Baldur's Gate, but more than likely there's a hidden camp around here somewhere. That would be my guess. So, onward, yes?
Onward.
Mm-hmm.
Onward.
I'm literally along for the ride, so where you guys go, I will follow.
Great. So, you guys all decide to move off of the main road that had initially headed west and then started to veer northwards towards Scornabel, the next large set of civilization. But this more obscured set of tracks seems to be leading elsewhere, and you've decided that this is the best course of action. So, you all move off, doing your best to follow these wagon tracks through the tall grass. Cathios, go ahead and make another survival check. Much better. So, initially, after that first set of scuff marks from the horses, kind of, again, tearing up the ground and pulling up some of the grass, as the land sort of flattens out, with the way the landscape is, the wind is constantly moving through here, it almost sort of pushed all that grass back into place and attempted to obscure that track, but you managed to catch. There's small patches of grass along your way that have been pushed aside, and you can see a hoofprint here and part of a wagon track there, kind of really obscure in this grass. And for most people, it would be nearly impossible to see, but you've trained for a long time and you know what to look for, and you can easily pick up these signs as you guys move along. About 45 minutes to another hour goes by, and the horizon starts to bring on these large patches of like tree groves, kind of like sporadically set about the land, and the wagon tracks kind of move around, not in a zigzag per se, but they look like they were trying to weave through the grass, not really maybe knowing where they're going, and it veers into a patch of trees, one of these large growths that's just kind of sits solitary in these fields, and you guys move into this grove. Now, it initially starts out really thick, with the large shrubs and a lot of other things that kind of obscure in these typically uninhabited places. But you can see where the wagon has just punched through some of this natural growth and kind of carved its own path through these trees, which, given the initial thought before of a possible hideout, you seem to kind of second guess that now. If there was a place that they were going that was specific, maybe hiding, them punching through overgrowth seems kind of weird to you. So you move in, and it gets a lot darker because this is a thick grove of trees, so that canopy up top really blocks out that midday sunlight, and the temperature drops pretty significantly as opposed to the outside. And the wagon trail that's kind of carving through here, weaving between trees and kind of heads off into the darkness. You guys are moving along, and your own mounts kind of, they make their own noises, they're moving through, but you hear something in the distance ahead of you, Pathios. A high-pitched noise of some kind. You don't quite pick up on exactly what it is, but you hear something.
I hear something. I'm not sure what it is, but I hear something up ahead.
Like a scary something or a nice something.
Like concerning something. I think we should do this in stealth moving forward.
Okay.
Believe.
Do I still have the bird, or did it find some other birds and fly away?
Nope, the bird is still with you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's just tagging along for the ride.
I'm like a fucking Disney princess over here.
I think, Adrian, you had something to help with that last time, isn't that right?
With which part?
Moving along without making quite as much sound. Some of us are, he kind of gives an awkward look at his, that moment where you just kind of gesture broadly at everything, aren't so inclined to stealth, necessarily.
I mean, I can make us a little quieter.
Yeah, Adrian cannot. Laura can.
I was confusing characters, okay.
It's okay. I cannot stealth. What I can do, though, is I can also send JM ahead of us, if someone doesn't mind guiding my horse.
I can guide your
But what if something happens to GM?
You can bring him back again. And JM just kind of looks at you like, hey.
Well, not a lot of people would suspect such an innocent puppy. Sounds like a decent enough plan to me.
I can see about... he can go about 100 feet ahead of us. And I can see through him if you guys don't mind someone leading my horse for me.
Well, we should keep moving and that way, in case it's a child, we can be close to get them, save them if we need to. But I like the idea of sending JM ahead. Now, I know he is immortal.
So the plan is we'll keep moving ahead and send, gods, I can scarcely believe I'm finding myself saying this, but we're going to continue moving ahead in case it's a child, but on the chance that it's a dangerous beast, we're going to send the puppy ahead first.
Yes.
It sounds a bit old, but always best to err on the side of caution. Not like
JM
this
just
small
hops
numbers
out of the
world.
bag and starts walking across the ground and just kind of looks back and goes,
He'll be okay, Ronick. It's like when Mozilla, like, falls down. He just comes back after I take a rest.
And that hurts me emotionally when that happens too.
A good thing it doesn't happen that often.
They're very good boys. Wait, is Mozilla? My apologies, I didn't mean to assume anything.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if wildfire foxes have genitalia.
Like you see
I've
him scrolling
never
like,
looked.
listen, wait a second.
I've
On
never
second
inspected.
I'm not going to press any further. Well, let's keep going.
because I kind of assume that a stealthing mount goes a little slower than the super fast dog.
Indeed.
I'm going to assume that my mount is not good at stealth. It's like you hear like I like reach up and give it a couple good berries.
Oh man. Nice, Totem. Nice. The one weapon. Totem's ready, guys. Wrong weapon, crack!
Actually, while we're going, let me take a look at the spell real quick. There might be something I'd like to ready. Okay.
I love that, like, Adrienne, all of this is just going over her head. All of these things, she's just not even paying attention. Just
I am
oblivious
going
to it.
to, while we're kind of going along, just kind of whisper the magic word and make a sign above some ball bearings to cast a magic stone. It does have a duration of 1 minute. I can recast as we get closer if that's not applicable. But I'm just basically going to have that on the ready with my sling in case something does happen.
Okay, alright.
Cassius is
Um,
gonna... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Cassius is gonna gesture towards Adrian the reins while she's concentrating and just kind of on her mount also just leading side by side.
Okay.
The moment that you take the reins, Adrienne's eyes go completely white. From that violet shade to just completely white, and she's just like this, and holding onto the horse.
Cassius does this.
Nothing.
And
Jam
with,
just goes, "Ah," and starts going.
yep, he trots off at a good pace ahead of the group. And just as JM moves off, Nissa, you get this tingly sensation kind of wash over your body, and then you feel a bit of warmth as that voice comes back. Pain. Immense pain. And cold. It's very cold.
Wait, what's happening?
They're in pain.
Who is the kids?
Pain. And then the voice disappears again.
Ominous at all.
And a few moments pass as you guys continue to ride up slowly towards the general location of where Cathios heard the sound. And you, just as you hear the baying of a horse quite loudly, JM comes running back, and he circles and he's barking and he's excited and he's barking and he runs back off again.
What did I see?
You saw an individual on a horse, bleeding, hunched over.
Interesting.
A low humming coming from the individual. An individual, a human man, dressed in leather armor on the back of a horse, coming in at a trot.
Okay, so I'm fully deaf and blind, but I think I can still speak, so I can relay what it is I'm seeing. I just wanted to double check before I...
Yes. Yeah, you can relay information via speech.
Well, let's go and check it out. This person might need help, or if they don't, we might be able to get some information out of them. Totem, I'll go right after you.
Yes, sure.
All I'm saying is you handle yourself far better than I do.
Oh, alright, he'll take a lead.
And I'll just go like right behind Totem. Like I'm not.
You see this horse moving at a swift walk, about 30 yards in front of you, kind of making its way back down the wagon trail. And just as Adrian had spoken before, there's an individual just hunched over this horse. You can see the blood leaking off the arms and down the leg, and it doesn't look good. And Totem and Ronick, since you guys kind of moved ahead, you hear it before the other two, before the rest of the group. The person on the back of the horse, their eyes are mostly closed, but you can see them kind of flittering open a little bit, maybe fighting to keep consciousness, and you just hear him humming.
Ronick will approach.
And you guys get close, and the man just falls off the horse.
When we get close enough, Adrian's gonna drop out of jam so that she can be ready for whatever.
Right, I'm going to, I believe I have a kit to do this. Yep, I sure do. I'm going to do a medicine check to see if I can patch him up.
Okay.
And actually, I believe I can just use a charge for my healer's kit to stabilize him.
Okay.
Just take out some stuff, apply some poultices to some wounds and bandage him up, and just basically try to stop any of the external bleeding and just kind of patch him up to the point where he's not necessarily bleeding out.
Okay. You're gonna roll that check, you said?
I believe, let me double check how a healer's kit works.
We've
Because
actually
I
used
think-
one before, I don't recall.
As an action, you expend one use to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make a wisdom or medicine check.
Nice.
Okay. So immediately you move down, and as you get close to this individual and you pull out the kit and you start pulling stuff apart to get ready to bandage him, and you're pulling at the armor, you can see that his face is just pale white, his skin is pasty, his breathing is almost non-existent as he's still just humming or trying to.
Nissa will hit him with a Cure Wounds.
Okay.
That will be... It's a 1d8 plus spellcasting ability. Let me roll. Rolling. Oh, cool. 14.
Okay. So it seems as though, as Ronick was getting ready to patch this individual up and staunch any bleeding, that he was already on his way out the door. And thinking quickly and noticing that he was not in good shape, you kind of just fling a heal spell at him. And it takes a moment, but as the spell finally takes effect and his wounds begin to heal themselves a bit, and then it staunches off death, like just keeps him from crossing that line. He goes, and he starts to thrash about, back.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Leave them alone, gods! I'll kill you all. Leave them alone.
I don't know what you've seen, but we mean you no harm. We came here and saved your life, friend.
You just see he's drenched in sweat as he's looking up at you. You're not. You're not them.
No, who are you speaking of?
They came from the hills in every direction. When he started to slaughter the people, we got them out as fast as we could, and then they started to swarm us. We went as fast as we could. We got them as fast as we could. And are they safe? Are the children safe?
That's what we're gonna go find out.
You don't know.
You came this way looking for them. Sorry.
What's the name of that town that we left?
Burdusk?
Oh,
Burdusk. Yeah. Are you from Burdusk by chance?
Burdusk. Yes, Burdusk.
Yeah.
We fled just after nightfall. Just before nightfall, a man had come into the village the day before. Very tall, regal-looking individual. Said he was a scholar. Something about he needed to conduct research here, and he had. He just stops for a moment as he's trying to catch up to himself.
Can I roll insight to see if he might be referring to Arthur Blackwood?
Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent. Fuck digital dice. Hey. That's going to be great for me. Thank you in advance for the great rolls. You know what? You had one job.
You know what? You probably have inspiration.
You know, I'm going to burn a point of inspiration. I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Motherfucker!
Oh no.
That's going to be a 9 total. I went from a 5 to a 2. I'm going to go purify this dice. Listen up, fucker.
Drop in some holy water.
I have my dice tower that's a phoenix. I burn the evil out of the dice.
Gotcha. So with a 9, it's actually not hard to piece together. A noble-looking individual, clad in dark, came to Burdusk. You're reasonably sure, but without asking directly, you don't know for certain.
He looks over to Totem and Cathios. Kind of that sort of like unspoken like, that's the guy from yesterday, right?
Cathios catches on and then just says out loud, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the edgelord we met yesterday.
Yes, what Cathios said, yes. Terry tries to look smart.
He seemed to have been dozing off for a moment as he was trying to catch his breath. I have to get back to the kids.
Which direction were they in?
We left in a hurry as Arthur started to slaughter the people of the village. The kids. We wanted to save the kids, so me and a few of the wives who were at the inn helping clean up for the night gathered the children together in a wagon behind the inn and shuttled them off. It made too much noise. He noticed, and we didn't get far up the road before a large swath of creatures followed behind. We tried to lose them by leaving off the main road, and for a time we thought we lost them, but somehow they managed to circle around ahead of us, and me and 2 other men decided to stay behind and fend them off to give them a chance to escape. I don't know what happened to them. I don't even know how I'm still alive.
Probably magic. What you should probably do is get back on your horse, head back to your village. We'll go take a look and we'll follow this trail and go take care of the kids.
Maybe not your village, because it's kind of gnarly right now. Maybe Scornabel.
Oh, no, I need to, I need to protect the children.
And he tries to stand, and he gets up on wobbly legs. Please let
Yeah,
me go
dude,
with
you're
you.
gonna like fucking die if you push yourself further.
I'd rather die trying to save them rather than save my own life knowing I could have done more.
I
Do you
mean
want
no
to see-
disrespect.
Do you want them to see you die? Do you think that would be good for them, to see you die? In the shape that you're in?
There are other ways to help. Go to Scornabel, find help, reinforcements. We'll take care of the children.
The realization of your guys' words wash over his face as he gains some clarity.
Oh, yes. And
He finally looks at you guys for the first time, like, for real, as he takes stock of each one of you.
adventurers. And you seem well armed. But
Yeah,
there's
we got this.
so many of them. Maybe hundreds of them.
Well, we killed that arty guy, didn't we?
We did. We pretty much yeeted his soul back into wherever he was from.
Being outnumbered hasn't stopped us yet.
He is in fact now a past tense.
Powerful
But he's not a
adventurers.
tent.
You are heroes. Yes, my horse. Fetch me my horse, and I will get reinforcements from Scornabel. Yes. Thank you. I don't know where they went, but if they continued on the wagon, it as easy as it may be to follow. I hope that those creatures did not catch up to them. You might still be in luck. Please do everything you can.
Adrian's gonna reach into her bag, pull out a couple, I want to say maybe about 5 gold pieces, toss them to him in a little bag and just be like, get supplies, get a place for them to stay, because they're gonna need it, right?
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Good luck. Please be safe there. Be safe, adventurers.
We
Fare thee
got
well. Bless you. God bless you.
And he scrambles over to his horse and kicks it into gear, and you can just see him start to ride north, just right off the trail, just cutting across the fields and through the trees, blindly in that direction.
You guys, I think I kind of like being a hero. I like this journey for me. This is way better than whatever the elders wanted me to do.
Cassios looks over and nods,
Fucking Nick.
What have you done?
What is that?
oh my god.
This is vengeance for all those years when you fuckers kept posting gifts and I was trying to DM.
You can just
Finally,
see
it's me. I am the one who knocks.
the injured soldier tries to duck a branch, but it's too low, so him and the horse just skid on their side as they continue going. And get back up and gallop off in the distance.
Incredible. I've never seen anything like that. It's like his horse is fast yet furious.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Thickford looks up. Nothing stronger than family.
Oh my god!
Bird talks!
I'm still on!
Oh, no.
And that is the end of Ronick the Silver.
Okay. So Bartholomew, having kind of stayed quiet, just at shock at the mention of the kid still being alive, it took him a moment to process that. I actually had my doubts, but if there's still a chance they're alive, and not captured, that's even better. They could have potentially escaped altogether. This is good news, but we should follow up just to be sure. That's the plan, right? We're going to follow them?
Yeah.
We're just gonna go ahead and ride off, and, you know, leave them
No,
to
no.
for themselves. They'll be fine. They can sharpen sticks, I'm sure.
No, they're children. I don't think they'd be very good at fighting. Oh. I see.
I should explain. I'm so sorry. I react with sarcasm when I get anxious.
No,
Okay.
it's quite alright.
I wasn't telling you, I was telling him.
I understand.
Yes, Veronica, I was telling you.
Kathios,
What is it, Ron?
are we being wing buddies for them?
I wasn't aware. I'm not exactly focused right now. I'm tired, Ronick. I'm sorry. But
Is sarcasm flirting?
Is it?
Ronick has this moment where his face, he looks like that gif of the lady with the equations, like,
Adrian just slowly starts following the tracks on her horse again.
Yeah,
Ronick will follow.
perfect. So you guys decide to pick up the trail and continue to follow on this broken path into some unknown wilderness and territory, kind of off the beaten path.
oh,
And continue moving at a much quicker pace, knowing that these children may be alive and still in imminent danger. And with that, we will end tonight's session.
Well played.
Excellent. That's a great cliffhanger to end it on. Well played, sir.
Yeah, that worked out perfect.
That's a good D&D fix.
Yes.
Got that good.
Good. Alright. So, we all know the drill. Everybody decide on 200 experience for someone, say who it is and why, and I'll get your experience for you.
mine's gonna go to Nissa. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Mine's going to Nissa because of the, using your new spell and then talking to the bird and, doing the actions of the choo choo choo.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it to Nissa for that exact same reason. It was a tough one. I feel like everybody at least had a good moment tonight, but yeah, that. I just loved the idea of like Nissa just like tweeting to a bird and everybody's like, what?
Yeah, like,
I'm gonna give mine to Adrian for sleeping in and then popping us out of the bubble. That was pretty funny.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I want to give mine to Kathios, because the whole taking care of my horse for me and like all of the other things, just like it's nice.
And I will give mine to also Nessa because that was pretty good with the bird thing. I agree.
Oh my goodness, you got it.
Yeah.
It's cool finding opportunities for me to get you guys to use things that you normally wouldn't. Because, like, really, how often do you get to do that sort of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
especially with, like, druids and rangers, I feel like sometimes their kits kind of get forgotten in the grand scheme of just playing the game. So, yeah, that was really well played.
Thank you. I appreciate that, all of you,
Absolutely.
and for the opportunity.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so I'm gonna give everybody 800 experience tonight. Fantastic roleplay by all. Thank you. Sorry we couldn't have played on Friday night and played a bit longer, but I'm glad we got to kind of make up for it tonight. So
Yeah, it's
Okay.
totally fine.
yeah.
Well, hey, I only have like 8,200 to go, so level 7's right around the corner.
Oh, so close, so close.
So close.
What level does level 7? How many points for level 7?
23,000, I believe.
I believe it's 23,000. Yeah.
Oof.
I'm not even level 6 yet.
Same.
I
Most
need
of you guys are
400
close.
more points.
Yeah. Let me look here.
I just had a couple sessions where me, Katie, was not remarkable, and therefore Nissa was not remarkable. So, although like, I haven't gotten any of the bonus for a while, so I lagged behind a little.
Yeah, that's
Did you
alright.
get any
It happens.
boners?
It's totally
Yes.
fine.
Yep, yep.
No
Um,
complaints. Just
Yeah, 14,000 for level 6 and then 23,000 for level 7. So that's correct.
Oh.
Yep. Most of you guys are pretty much on equal footing in terms of experience, so. Alright, well thanks for the awesome session, guys.
yeah.
Short and sweet.
Absolutely.
Short and sweet.
It was real good, man. Thank you for running.
Absolutely. So, alright, well thanks everybody for tuning into tonight's game. I appreciate everybody out there. Sorry I didn't really get a chance to pay much attention to Twitch chat, but that's what happens when you're really engaged in the roleplay. So, but yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back in 2 weeks if nothing changes. So,
If baby's all act
yeah.
accordingly, no.
right. The one day I get to run a game, and Slivia's like, no.
That'll happen.
She said I would like to rage.
She really did. She totally
Until
pulled the
next time.
barbarian on me. So.